Picture this. You and your friends scored tickets to the biggest music festival of the year. Headliner just got announced, the crowd surges forward, you feel that electric buzz, that chest-to-back compression of 50,000 people who all decided to exist in the same 20 square feet. You think, this is hype, this is energy, this is vibes. Spoiler alert, these are not vibes. This is physics. And physics does not care about your Spotify Wrapped. Welcome back. Your already dead host here, sipping Ghost Espresso, which, by the way, tastes like regret and burnt ozone. Today, we are talking about one of the most misunderstood, most Hollywood butchered ways to die, the stampede. Except, here's your first lesson and your first payoff, so lean in. The word stampede is already wrong. What actually kills people in these events is not running, it is not trampling, it is crowd crush. And the difference between those two things is the difference between a scary movie and an actual nightmare you cannot wake up from, because you are dead, like me. But we will get to the dying part. First, let me tell you why you're already cooked before you even realize something is wrong. See, movies love showing stampedes as this chaotic scene where people are sprinting and shoving and diving over each other like it is Black Friday at a Best Buy in 2005. Dude, no, that is not how this works. In a real crowd crush, almost nobody is running. You want to know the terrifying part? Most people are barely moving at all. The crowd becomes what engineers call a fluid density problem. You stop being a person, you become a particle in a wave, and that wave has more force than you could ever fight against. Fun fact, when crowd density hits about 6 to 7 people per square meter, you physically cannot move your arms, you cannot lift them, you cannot push, you cannot reach your phone to call for help. Your body is now pinned by the collective force of hundreds of humans pressing in from every direction. The pressure on your torso at this point can exceed 1,000 newtons. To put that in terms your brain can actually process, imagine a full-grown adult male standing on your ribcage while you lay flat on the ground. Now imagine 3 of them. That's what the crowd is doing to you. Except there is no ground. You are vertical. You are standing. And somehow that makes it worse. Here's where most people think they would just, push back, fight their way out, be built different. Welcome to the consequences, bro. You are not built different. You are built out of the same squishy meat suit as everyone else in that crowd. And here's what that meat suit does when it gets compressed. First, your breathing changes. Not because you're panicking, although you are absolutely panicking, but because your diaphragm literally cannot expand. The muscle that pulls air into your lungs needs your ribcage to flex outward. When you are compressed on all sides, your ribs cannot move. You're trying to inhale, your brain is screaming for oxygen, and mechanically, your body simply cannot do the one thing it needs to do to keep you alive. This is called compressive asphyxia, and it is the #1 killer in crowd crush events. Not trampling, not falling, not getting stepped on. You die standing up, surrounded by people, because you cannot breathe. Let that sit for a second. Spoiler alert, it gets worse. Because here's the thing about compressive asphyxia that no movie ever shows you. It is quiet. There is no dramatic gasping, no screaming. You physically cannot scream because screaming requires air, and you do not have any. People around you might not even know you're dying. You are pressed face to shoulder blade with a stranger. Your feet might not even be touching the ground anymore because the crowd density has literally lifted you. And your vision is starting to tunnel. Your brain is running out of oxygen. Your heart is doing this panicked arrhythmia thing, where it's beating fast but accomplishing nothing, like a student cramming the night before finals. Productive energy? Zero. Fun fact, in the 2022 Seoul crowd crush in Itaewon, 159 people died in an alley that was roughly 45 meters long and 4 meters wide. That's smaller than a bowling lane. Most of them died standing up. Some were found still upright, held in place by the compression of the crowd, even after they were already gone. the dead standing among the living. If I were not already a ghost, I would say that is haunting, but I am, so I'll just say it's accurate. Now, let me bust one more myth, because this one genuinely makes me want to throw my spectral coffee at the screen. People love blaming stampede deaths on panic, on the crowd being stupid or irrational. Bro, no. Crowd crush is almost never caused by panic. It is caused by a system chain. People at the back of the crowd push forward, not because they're panicking, but because they don't know what's happening at the front. They're just moving. They think the crowd is flowing. They can't see that 50 meters ahead, people are being compressed into a wall or a bottleneck or a narrow corridor. The information doesn't travel backward. The force does. You were not killed by a mob. You were killed by a system failure, a fluid dynamics problem wearing sneakers and band tees. And here's the part that should genuinely change how you move through the world. The moment you feel crowd pressure on your chest, the moment you can't control your own movement, the moment your feet start sliding without you choosing to step, you are already inside the danger zone. Don't wake. Move diagonally, not against the crowd, not with the crowd, diagonally. Find a wall, a barrier, anything elevated. Get out of the center. The center is where the pressure peaks. The center is where people die standing up with no bruises and no broken bones, because it wasn't impact that killed them. It was sustained compression. Their lungs just quietly stopped. So, yeah, that's what dying in a stampede actually feels like. Not dramatic, not cinematic, just pressure, silence, and the slow realization that 50,000 people are having the best night of their lives, and you are not going to have another night at all. If you want to keep exploring the worst ways to go, hit subscribe. I'll be here. I'm dead. I have nothing but time, and an endless supply of ghost coffee that I am emotionally dependent on. See you in the next one.